everybody, welcome to my channel where I give my unfiltered opinions about the state of the world. Let's talk about mandatory hotel quarantine. Specifically, let's talk about the 3-day hotel quarantine in Canada. I'm starting this video in South Africa. I am due to fly out in 3 days. Not looking forward to it. It's going to be fraught. Now I want to make it clear that I am not anti-quarantine. I am all for following every possible precaution. My travel has been essential. I isolated for over 2 weeks before I left Canada. I deliberately chose a date that I thought would have less travel crowds, and even though it wasn't required, I isolated when I arrived before seeing my family. While here, I have been part of a small bubble of people. I have followed all of the precautions, mask wearing, social distancing, good hand hygiene, because I believe in them. I believe that all of us have that responsibility because combating this virus is going to be a collective effort. We all have to do our part. And for me as a traveler, I believe I have a huge responsibility. Yes, my travel was essential, but that does not take away from the fact that it does introduce risk. And it's my job to make sure I do everything I can to minimize that risk. So I've always been fine with taking a COVID test prior to travel, and I'm fine with taking another test on arrival. I also don't have a problem with the requirement to test on day 10. All of this makes sense to me. At the time I left Canada in late December, there was a mandatory 14-day self-managed quarantine. I made a plan to stay in a motel down the road from my house for the 14 days. My family would bring me food and leave it outside my door, and I would have contact with no one. Now, a couple of weeks ago, a new requirement came into effect where arriving travelers have to quarantine at a designated hotel for 3 days while awaiting test results. If they test negative, they can complete the remaining 11 days of quarantine according to their original quarantine plan. This may seem like a reasonable idea in theory, but the implementation has been a disaster. Here are some of the issues. It's hella expensive. A hotel that would usually charge around $120 a night is charging $340-ish. Food is included in this, but it is of extremely substandard quality. It arrives late, if at all, and it's cold when it arrives. Security is included in the cost, but with people leaving their hotel rooms in order to look for food, how good is the security? Enhanced cleaning is included. Shouldn't that already be a thing? I have to pay $200 extra for something the hotels should already be doing? Most hotels have a check-in time of 3 p.m. If you arrive earlier than that, you're kept in a room with other travelers. According to what I've heard, there can be up to 50 people in the room. Test results are coming back in around 24 hours, and the hotel does allow you to leave as soon as you have a negative test result, but here's the kicker. If you only stay for 1 night because you get your test result the next day, you still have to pay for 3 nights. So in other words, 1 night at a hotel with shitty food ends up costing you over $1,000.
Well, maybe I don't need your money. Wait, I said maybe!
The plan as it's being executed is not any safer than my original motel plan. If anything, it's putting me at higher risk because it involves interactions and potentially close contact with a lot more people than if I just got into an airport limo and went to the motel. So, I don't know. I don't know how this will all pan out. I have not made a reservation, and I am just waiting to see if anything changes, because this is one of those situations that could evolve quite quickly. But this is where things currently stand. If anything changes prior to my departure, I will let you know. Otherwise, this video will continue during or shortly after my arrival in Canada.
2 days later.
It is the day before my flight. We have a negative COVID test result. We are checked in. We have filled in all of the information on the ArriveCan app. Still don't have a booking at any hotel. Was not able to do so because nothing works. The technology just wouldn't work. The phone number wouldn't work. The online booking says like nothing. I fly out tomorrow and I'm just gonna get to Toronto and see what happens. So I'll check in with you guys maybe from the airport tomorrow or maybe after I land in Canada.
The next day.
Safety and security is important to us. Protect you, protect us.
Now that the announcement is over, today has been an ordeal, you guys. Oh my gosh. So today is the day I'm flying out of South Africa into Paris. I land in Paris early tomorrow morning, Paris time. Then I have about an 8-hour layover in Paris, and then I fly on to Toronto. But today has been absolute So I got my packing done. That went well enough. The cat was trying to get into my bag. I so badly wish I could have brought him with me. He's such a cool animal. Anyway, pack my bags, and then I'm lifting them off the bed to weigh them. And I pulled a muscle in my back. And you guys, the time to pull a muscle in your back is not on the day you're going to be getting onto a plane for an 11-hour flight. So there was that. And then checking in at the airport was a bit of an ordeal. Hang on, another announcement is coming.
As part of controlling entry into our protect us.
Okay, announcement is over. There was no traffic getting to the airport. It was a smooth ride. But then, holy cow, checking in was an ordeal. I did check in online, so I had my seats already assigned and everything. But then it took me about an hour, I think, in the line to drop off my bags. So that was kind of chaotic, and by then I had a bit of a headache blooming, in addition to the back pain. Eventually I got the bags dropped off, and then I had to fill in this health questionnaire, and I couldn't find where to get the forms, and eventually I got the forms, and anyway, I thought I got to the airport with plenty of time to spare, and I have just got to my gate, and I only have about 30 minutes to boarding, so yeah, it's been a long afternoon. The good news is I did not sleep very well last night because I have a lot of anxiety going on about this whole hotel quarantine thing in Canada. I have no idea how that's going to go. But I'm hoping I am tired enough tonight to get some sleep. My back is feeling a little better. Thank you to my brother who came through with some good quality meds for me. So I took some of those before I left the house. I'll take some more tonight on the plane, and then I'll try to get some sleep. So that's where we're at right now, currently at Johannesburg International Airport. I'm looking out the window and looks like there's a storm going on. Are we going to take off in lightning? Who knows? I will check in with you guys from Paris at some point tomorrow.
One eternity later.
I made it to Paris. Give me a minute to change my mask. Okay, that is 1,000 times better. Air France does not allow the cloth masks on the flights. You have to wear the surgical masks, which means, you know, like 12 hours of this loop behind your ears. Respect to the doctors and nurses and other people who have to do this like all day on a regular basis, because it hurts, man. Holy cow. My cloth mask has the loops that go all the way around my head, so I'll be able to give my ears a little bit of a break before the next flight. So it is about 6:30 in the morning local time, and I have got to my gate for my flight to Toronto. My flight's at like 2 o'clock this afternoon, so I have a long wait. What am I going to do for the next 8 hours? Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably explore the wonders of the airport at some point later on. Nothing's even open right now, so what I might actually do is go in search of coffee. That's what I might do. I will go in search of coffee, and I'll check in with you guys later on.
Many unbearable hours later.
So this is the motel room that, that I'm going to be using for my quarantine. Let's go take a look. That's nice. Oh my gosh. Look at that. There's a crap ton of wine there. I've been set up with all kinds of stuff. He was pranking me. He said there wasn't anything here. So it looks like I'm well set up.
I'm fixing up all of this, and James is going.
That is great.
You're all good?
Yeah, I'm good. Let me just come get my bag. I am in Toronto. I made it. I made it. The flight from Paris was extremely empty. The flight from South Africa to Paris was full, but the flight from Paris to Toronto, there was no one sitting anywhere near me. As you know, I had a lot of anxiety going into the whole arrival in Canada hotel quarantine ordeal. The first thing I'm going to say is that the processes at Pearson Airport were exceptionally well organized. Everyone did a really good job there. Now, in terms of the hotel quarantine, I'm not going to talk too much about what happened at the airport, but I did get an exemption. So it seems that the people at the airports do have the discretion to give exemptions. A, if you have a good reason, which I do, and B, if you have a solid quarantine plan, again, which I do. I am here in this motel room. I will show it to you in a moment. It's actually very nice. And so yeah, I got that sorted out, got my COVID testing done, got my at-home COVID test. Then my husband met me in our minivan, to which he sealed off the driver's cabin from the rest of the van. So there was no exchange of air between him and me, which was, it was really well done. So he brought me to this motel. And this little room is going to be my home for the next couple of weeks. I am expecting that the quarantine officers will be paying me some spot visits, which is fine. I would welcome them to come and check up on me anytime they feel they need to. So that's all good. And now I can get on with the business of just relaxing. It's all been a little bit stressful. I am so glad to be home. I'm so glad everything went well. My tip for anyone coming into Canada, be polite, be honest. The people at the airports are doing a fantastic job, and you know, they're also human beings. So, you know, I'm going to show you the room now. So I've got this lovely little sitting area with a little dining room table, and that's a bed that's hopefully comfortable. Feels nice and soft. A desk that I can do my work at. And look, there's these little chocolates all over the place. Isn't that nice? And roses. My husband put some roses in here for me. He sorted out this wine. And let's find the light switches here. Little bathroom. Pretty utilitarian. A bottle of wine in the shower. Oh my God, that's hilarious. And a little kitchenette. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Oh, there's another bottle of wine. And a stocked up fridge. And, oh, my favorite coffee mug. Look at that. My favorite coffee mug. There we go. Wine o'clock. I think it's going to be wine o'clock very soon. So I am well set up here. I think I'm going to be very comfortable here.
One debt to society later.
So it's day 10 today. And we are doing the home COVID test. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long my wait is going to be. But I'm going to prepare the test kit, which means logging onto the portal, scanning this code that I have, setting up the shipping and all of that kind of stuff. And then I get connected to the portal and I have to wait until a nurse comes online, and we'll see where I am in the queue when this all happens. It is 7:15 and I'm hoping, because it is relatively early, I believe they open at 7, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it will not be a long wait. Although half of the world may have had the same idea as me. Let's read our instructions. Step 1, activating the kit. Excellent. There's less than 5 people ahead of me. This is good news. This may not take too long. So I just filled out my tube label, which just has my name and my date of birth. And I have succeeded in putting it on the tube without overlapping the serial number on the barcode. So, yay! I have heard stories of people getting to the front of the queue and then being disconnected. So I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, we're in a scenario of hurry up and wait right now. The nurse is going to see all of my bottles of wine in the background. The view of the nurse is actually very similar to the view of the camera. So, yeah. The nurse will definitely see my bottles of wine in the background. I want to be done with this so I can have my coffee. Okay, so each of the 5 people probably takes 20 minutes or so, but presumably there's more than one nurse. There's definitely more than 5 people. I think that counter is wrong. So I could be in for the long haul.
3,000 years later.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. We're done. Woo! Okay, and that concludes my day 10 at-home COVID test. The wait was longer than I thought it was going to be, but once the nurse was on, it took about 5 minutes. The nurse was very nice, explained everything very clearly, and the package is now ready and it is waiting for pickup. So now we just have to wait for this test to be picked up, and hopefully I'll get my results back in time to finish my quarantine.
Yeah. So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So that test was done on day 10. I was so stressed out because there was some issue with Purelator and they didn't pick up the test until day 11 and the lab only got it on day 12. So I was worried about whether I would get my results in time to end quarantine on day 14. And on day 14, about 4 hours before I was due to end quarantine, I got my result. It was negative, which meant that as of midnight that night, I was free to leave my motel room. I was exhausted that night. All I wanted to do was go to sleep. But I was so excited about my quarantine ending that I waited for the clock to strike midnight and then I put on my mask and left my motel room. I didn't go anywhere. I just kind of walked into the parking lot and back into my room just because I could. I came home the next day and it was so good to be back with my family. I missed them so much while I was away. My final thoughts on mandatory hotel quarantine. Obviously, because I was granted an exemption, I cannot speak from my own personal experiences. I have heard so many reports, good and bad. I believe the problems that were happening when this was first implemented have mostly been ironed out, but you know, the whole concept of it is just flawed to me. For a start, it only applies to people coming in by air. Those driving over the US border are given a COVID test and a day 10 testing kit, and they are sent home to quarantine there. No hotel required, which means a bunch of people change their flights to land in the US and they just walk over the border and then get a cab to wherever they want to go. The other issue is that international flights can only land in 4 Canadian cities at the moment: Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary. You have to do the 3-day hotel stay in the city you land in, and if you live in any other city, on day 3 you can then get on a plane with domestic travelers who have not been tested and go home, where you would then have to complete your 14 days. So to me, it just seems safer to either let people quarantine at home or in a motel or something, you know, just the same place for the whole 14 days, or make the hotel stay mandatory for the whole 14 days. This half and half thing does not make a whole lot of sense to me, and the cost is ridiculous. It feels like it is not about safety, it is about punishing people who have traveled. So those are my experiences and my thoughts. I am planning to go to South Africa again when things are better. You know, when travel is easier, when things are safer, when more people are vaccinated, and when restrictions are either gone or at least eased up. My advice to anyone planning to travel at the moment is don't, unless you have an essential reason. And people, please remember that folks do have essential reasons for travel, and it's stressful. Don't be hating on people who are traveling because you don't know their story. That's it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy, wear the masks, keep practicing your distancing even if you have received the vaccine. I'll see you in the next video. Live your best life and be kind. Bye.